Hi, this is Michael with Munching with Michael, and we're gonna make some sourdough bread. So, it's bedtime, and I'm gonna feed the starter. I like to do half whole wheat and half white. And then equal parts flour and water. We'll see you tomorrow morning. So it's the next morning, and we're going to do the autolyse stage, which is mixing our dry ingredients and most of the water. I'm going to let it sit for 2 hours. So we have our white flour, whole grain flour, and rye. We're just going to mix in some warm water. We want our dough to be around 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, and we're just going to put a cover on it and let it sit for 2 hours. Okay, so we finished our 2-hour autolyse, and now we're going to move to this part. So this is the next thing we're going to add: 50 grams of water, salt, and the levain. So we add salt, water, and the sourdough starter. So the dough is mixed, and now we're going to start the bulk ferment for 3.5 hours-ish. And during that, we're going to do 3 stretch and folds. So it's mixed now. We're going to wait a half hour, and then we're going to start the stretch and folds. So it's been a half hour, and now we're ready for our first round of stretch and folds. Put the dough out on the counter. Stretch it out and fold it in. Stretch it out, fold it in. Stretch that side out, fold it in. And stretch that side out and fold it in. And we're gonna wait a half hour. It's been a half hour, so we're gonna do another set of stretch and folds. And you can see each time I do this, the dough gets smoother and smoother.
It's hard to do one-handed.
Alright, time for the last stretch and fold. Take it, pull it up. And I'm just gonna let this sit now for 2 hours. Okay, so the dough has rested for another 2 hours since our last stretch and fold. And I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it in half because this is a recipe for 2 loaves. Maybe I'll get a little bit. All right. Sorry about that. We'll do the first loaf. So a little bit of flour on the ground, on the board. And then this is the good side. This is the seam side. Seam side up. I'm just gonna kind of stretch it out so we can shape the dough. Sorry, this is the best camera I could do. Maybe I'm gonna switch the camera. Okay, that's slightly better. So I'm gonna stretch it out, and I'm gonna try to just shape this best I can. So fold it in and around. Just want it as tight as possible. And then roll that seam. It's pretty good. And then last step for today, this is a mixture of rice flour and regular wheat flour. It's gonna give it a healthy coating of it. And also got my baskets, gonna give a nice coating in there too. And then we're gonna go this presentation side down. So the seam side is facing up. The round one, I'll do it straight in the basket. So it has like a circle pattern. Cover it. Once they're covered, we're just going to let them sit for another half hour. So it's been a half hour now, and these are going to sit overnight in the fridge. So it's the next day, and we got our oven preheating for 1 hour with the cast iron inside at 500 degrees. So it's the next day, and I sprinkled a little cornmeal on top so it doesn't stick, and we are ready to put this in the oven. I'm gonna flip it over. Oh, yeah. Then we're gonna score it. So I just gave it a score, and now we're gonna throw it in the oven. 25 minutes with the top on at 500 degrees, and then we'll do 25 minutes with the top off at 450. All right, so now we're ready to take the top off, and we're gonna see how I did. Oh yeah, oh sure. Yeah, you bet. Okay, so it's out of the oven. 25 minutes uncovered, and now it's time for cutting it open.